Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Nice that you're watching this video. I hope that everybody who is watching is fine, that everything is good. In this video I'm going to talk about my first impressions when I bought my first Qur'an. It is now already over 1 year ago that I bought the Qur'an. And the reason that I bought the Qur'an is because I watched some videos on YouTube about the Qur'an, and there was a lot of information what really shocked me. For example, about the scientific facts in the Qur'an, and I wanted to know if that was really true, because I was so surprised when I watched that videos. So I bought the Qur'an online to find out if that was really true. I did a lot of research before I bought the Qur'an, and I have bought a translated version of the Qur'an in my own language, in Dutch. The Qur'an that I finally bought is this Qur'an. So it is the Qur'an in Dutch, and I already finished it completely. I've put a lot of sticky notes that are basically questions or things that I didn't understand, so I wanted to look it up and do more research about it. So now I am reading it actually for the second time. And even though it was in my own language, it was actually very hard for me to understand. So it will take quite a lot of time for me to understand it. But I am really doing my best to research and to ask people around me what is the meaning behind some text that I don't understand. And now that I am reading it for the second time, some things are falling in place that I first didn't understand. But there is still a lot that I have to learn, and I still have also a lot of questions. So I think that it is important to not only read the Qur'an, but actually really study it and to know what is the meaning behind everything. Of course, the Qur'an is originally written in Arabic, and Arabic is a very rich language. Especially in the Qur'an, every verse and every surah has such a deep meaning. And I believe that there is another version of this Qur'an with more explanation, but I didn't buy it yet. Maybe I'm going to buy it as well, but for now the things that I don't understand, I'm just researching it in order to make it clear for me what is the meaning behind it. From the moment that I bought the Qur'an online, I felt very excited to receive it and to read in it. And actually I'm a person who is never really reading books. I don't have the patience, and I find it really difficult to concentrate. So in order to read a book is that it has to be very interesting to me, otherwise I will just not finish it. But I finished the Qur'an and it was very interesting to me, and I've learned a lot from it, and it really amazed me so much. There were a lot of things in the Qur'an that really shocked me. But let's start from the beginning. I've read on internet that you have to treat the Qur'an very carefully, and that you should never place anything on top of the Qur'an, and you have to be sure that you are clean before you touch the Qur'an, that you have to do wudu. And I have actually never had a book or any item in my home where I had to give so much care about. So that was something very special to me. At the moment that I received the Qur'an and I unboxed it, I remember that I felt very emotional. I think that was just a mix of my excitement, and it felt also almost like I did something wrong because of the bad image that it has given to by the media and the television. So I felt so much excited to read it. In the moment when I held the Qur'an in my hands, I felt very emotional. I think also because I knew it was something important where I had to take care about, and that I had to treat it with a lot of respect. So it was something very new to me, and I just wanted to learn and to know if everything that I thought about it was actually true or not. And when I started to read it, there were a lot of things that I couldn't understand, and sometimes that was just because I needed to read the verses after it in order to understand, or sometimes I really had to look it up. When people use verses of the Qur'an and interpret it as something bad, that is actually because they don't understand the meaning of the whole explanation about it. Some verses, for example, are talking about the war or things that are happening on the battlefield. So you have to understand the context when you are reading the Quran. That is very, very important. But when you study a little bit and you start to understand the meaning behind it, then you will certainly understand. And there are still things that I actually don't understand. I'm still learning, so don't get me wrong, because it's also, of course, a translated version in Dutch, and that will never be the same as the original Quran in Arabic. And the Quran is so deep, especially in Arabic. It has such a deep meaning, and that is something what is just impossible to translate to Dutch language. And something that I didn't know from the beginning is that women also should cover themselves while reading the Quran. So now that I am reading the Quran for the second time, I always cover myself with a hijab to be sure that I do everything correctly. And there were so many things that really shocked me when I was reading the Quran. It is talking about the human body, for example, how we are created and how we are formed, about the animals, about the mountains, the nature, about the universe, how the universe is created, for example, and the orbits of the planets. The Quran is so rich with information, so it's not only talking about the stories of the prophets, but I've learned also a lot about the stories of the prophets. I really enjoyed reading it, and it's teaching us a lot. For example, about justice, about good behavior, and all of this. And many times the stories about the prophets made me cry also while I was reading the Quran. But what fascinated me the most was that there is so much science in the Quran, where I've also watched the videos about on YouTube, what actually made me buy the Quran. And the thing what fascinates me so much is that there was never anything in the Quran that has proven wrong. For example, when it's talking about the creation of the universe, starting from a single point, and this is something what a lot of atheists believe also, that's basically the Big Bang theory, and that the universe is expanding. This is something where Stephen Hawking was talking about as well, and that is something that is just recently discovered around 50 years ago or something, and all of this was already written more than 1400 years ago. So that is really fascinating, right? Because, for example, if there were things that are now proven as something what is absolutely not true, then a lot of people will actually lose their faith. But instead of this, recent studies and discoveries actually is showing that what Allah wrote in the Quran is actually what I just discovered as scientific facts. And I find that already a very important reason to read the Quran, because I think for many people, even if you are not religious, it is something what is very interesting to many people in the world. So there are a lot of lessons for us in the Quran. It's teaching us what is good for us and what is bad for us. It teaches us what we should do and what we shouldn't do in behavior to others, to ourselves, what can help us to have a healthy life, mentally and physically, and also to create a better society together. If we are all living in a good way, what is good for us and good for others, then the world will definitely be a better place, I guess. And what I found very beautiful while I was reading the Quran is to come to know that Allah created us with a purpose, and that made me so emotional, and to know that He is always here for us. and that Allah is Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim, the most gracious, the most merciful, so that we can always talk with Allah and that we can ask Him for forgiveness if you feel sorry about something, or you can ask Him for something that you really want. There were a lot of moments in my life that I thought I was here for no reason and that I felt lonely. But Islam teaches us that Allah already chose our way in life and that we can trust, we can put our trust in Allah, and that He knows what we don't know. So sometimes maybe something happens and we don't understand why, but maybe at the end that is something what is better for us, and maybe we come to know about this later or we don't. But it's also very comforting for me, and it gives me a really calm feeling that Allah knows what I don't know, and that I can just let it go. I don't have control about everything in my life. Because I decided to read the Qur'an, it brought me actually more close towards Islam, and it definitely changed my thoughts about the Qur'an, because I know now that the Qur'an is actually a guide to all of mankind, and there are a lot of things that we can learn from it, and that you really have to understand the meaning behind it before you are going to judge about anything that you interpret as bad. So for me it is a really nice experience and a really nice journey to learn about Islam. I hope that you enjoyed to watch this video, and to see you soon in one of my next videos. If you have any tips for me, or if you have any questions, please let me know in the comments down below. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you like to watch my videos, and if you would like to see more of my videos in the future. And I hope to see you soon in one of my next videos. Bye!